Hello there, and welcome to Theories Before Sleep, where curiosity drifts quietly beside you and the universe unfolds one breath at a time. Tonight, as the world outside settles into silence and the last traces of daylight fade from your window, we're going to travel farther than anyone has ever gone, not across oceans or planets, but outward through the invisible depth of the cosmos, to the faint horizon that marks the edge of the observable universe. It isn't a wall or a border you could ever touch. It's more like the furthest whisper of light, a place defined not by what's there, but by what has finally reached us. Everything beyond it still exists. It's simply waiting for its light to arrive. If you're lying in bed, eyes half closed, imagine the ceiling above you dissolving, the roof, the clouds, the sky itself peeling away until there is only night. The stars hang in that dark like grains of dust caught in a sunbeam. Each one is ancient. Each one a memory of a moment long gone. When you look at them, you're not seeing what is, you're seeing what was, because light, even at its fastest, needs time to cross space. The moon you see tonight is a reflection from 1 second ago. The light of the sun left 8 minutes earlier. The light from the nearest star took 4 years to get here, and the light from the farthest galaxy we've ever seen has been travelling for more than 13 billion years. That's what we mean when we say edge. Not the end of the universe, but the limit of time we can look back upon. Beyond that, the darkness isn't empty. It's filled with everything that hasn't yet become visible. Galaxies still sending their first messages across an expanding ocean of space. We call that distant boundary the cosmic horizon. It's the farthest light that can ever reach us, stretched thin by the universe's growth, cooled by its age, and red-shifted until it glows only faintly in microwaves. That ancient echo is everywhere. In the air around you, in the static between radio channels, in the quiet hum of existence itself. It's called the cosmic microwave background, and it's the oldest light we will ever see. When scientists first detected it in 1965, it wasn't dramatic. It came through as a faint, stubborn hiss on a radio receiver, a whisper from the beginning. At first, they thought it was interference, maybe pigeons nesting in the antenna. But after cleaning, recalibrating, and testing again, the hiss remained. It was everywhere, coming equally from all directions, like a soft fog of radiation surrounding Earth. That was the moment we realised we were hearing the afterglow of the Big Bang itself, the universe's own first sigh. That light has been travelling ever since, stretched by cosmic expansion, until it now measures just a few millimetres in wavelength. If we could see it with our eyes, the entire sky would glow faintly, evenly, with no stars, no constellations, just warmth left over from creation. Everywhere we look, the same pattern repeats. It tells us that no matter where you stand, the universe looks the same in every direction. That symmetry is what lets us imagine an edge at all. But what is an edge in something that has no centre? That's one of the quiet puzzles of cosmology. The universe doesn't expand into anything. Space itself is what's expanding. Every distant galaxy isn't moving through space. Space between us and them is stretching, carrying the galaxies away like leaves on a widening stream. There's no centre, no edge where you could stand and look outward. And yet, from where we are, light has only had so long to travel. That distance, about 46 billion light years in every direction, is the edge of our observable universe. Beyond it, there is more. More galaxies, more stars, more time. We just can't see them yet. Their light is still on its way, crossing distances that grow faster than the light can close them. It's like chasing a retreating horizon. No matter how fast you move, it always remains ahead of you, glimmering faintly in the dark. Astronomers often describe this expansion with something called the Hubble flow, a measure of how fast galaxies move apart per unit of distance. The farther away something is, the faster it seems to recede. At small scales, galaxies don't move much relative to one another. Their gravity keeps them bound, but at great distances, space itself stretches so quickly that entire clusters of galaxies disappear beyond our view, carried away by the growth of the cosmos. This doesn't mean they stop existing. It just means that for us, their light will never catch up again. They fade not into darkness, but into inaccessibility. The universe, in that sense, is not shrinking or dying. It's expanding into mystery. You can think of it like standing in a fog. The closer trees are clear, their shapes distinct. Farther away, they blur and dissolve until there's only the pale grey of distance. That boundary isn't a wall of fog. It's a limit of sight. The edge of the universe is the same, not a curtain that ends existence, but the soft point where vision gives way to imagination. Sometimes, late at night, astronomers imagine what lies past that veil. More galaxies, certainly. Perhaps infinite. Maybe other regions with slightly different laws of physics, different kinds of matter, different balances of dark energy and gravity. Some theories even suggest a vast multiverse, where universes bud from one another like foam on the surface of an endless sea. But whether or not that's true, one thing remains. Our own cosmic horizon defines the bubble of everything we can ever know. And inside that bubble, light continues its slow journey toward us. Every second, more photons arrive, messages sent billions of years ago by stars that may no longer exist. Their light still travels, carrying news of worlds long gone. Each one adds to the image we call the observable universe, a sphere of light expanding at the speed of discovery. The thought can feel enormous, even overwhelming, but there's a strange comfort in it too, because the same laws that govern those distant galaxies govern us. The same physics that bends light around black holes keeps your body warm, keeps the atoms of your breath in motion. From the smallest cell to the largest cluster of galaxies, the pattern holds. And that continuity, that unbroken thread from here to the horizon, is what lets us feel connected to something so vast. So when we speak of the edge, we're not really talking about a place. We're talking about a time, the limit of how far back we can look. And in that time, we can still hear the echo of beginnings. Beyond the faint horizon of light we can see, there lies a deeper night, a darkness that doesn't stay still. It grows, it breathes outward. It is the quiet expansion of the universe itself. Every moment space stretches, not the way fabric stretches under tension, but as if the fabric is the motion, as if distance itself were alive. Galaxies drift apart not because they're moving through space, but because the space between them is swelling, like ink spreading through water, smooth and inevitable. When astronomers first measured this, they were stunned. They expected gravity to slow the universe down, to pull everything inward like a stone rising and falling in a well. But the opposite was true. The expansion was not only continuing, it was accelerating. Something unseen was pushing it forward, an invisible pressure that filled all of space. They called it dark energy. No one knows exactly what it is. It doesn't shine, it doesn't cluster, it doesn't interact with matter the way light does. It's simply there, a constant hum written into the equations of reality. In 1998, two independent teams studying distant supernovae noticed that the light from those explosions was dimmer than expected. It meant they were farther away than they should have been. Proof that the universe had expanded faster than predicted. That quiet discovery changed everything. The cosmos wasn't coasting into stillness. It was racing into emptiness. Imagine that for a moment. The galaxies we see tonight, the vast clusters and filaments stretching across the sky, will someday fade beyond our view. Not because they vanish, but because the expansion of space will carry them away faster than light can return to us. Each galaxy becomes an island, adrift on an ocean that grows wider every second. In the far future, billions of years from now, an observer in our Milky Way might look up and see nothing at all. No galaxies, no cosmic web, only darkness and the faint warmth of dying stars. The universe will not end with a bang, but with a long, slow dimming. That is the destiny called heat death. Not destruction, but dispersal energy thinning until even motion forgets itself. And yet, there's something peaceful in that image. The same expansion that isolates galaxies also allowed stars and planets to exist in the first place. Without space growing between matter, the early universe would have collapsed before it could breathe. Dark energy, mysterious as it is part of the balance that makes everything possible. When we map that expansion, we use a number called the Hubble constant. It tells us how fast the universe grows per unit of distance. For every megaparsec, about 3.26 million light-years, galaxies recede roughly 70 kilometers per second. That sounds small, but over billions of light-years, it becomes impossible to comprehend. Look far enough, and every point in space runs away from every other point. There is no true center. Everywhere is the middle of its own expansion. This means you're not on the edge of anything, you're within the motion itself. The same invisible tide that moves galaxies also flows through you. Your body, the air, the atoms of your skin, all stretch ever so slightly with the universe. The change is too small to feel, but it happens nonetheless. You're expanding with everything else, held together by the gravity of your own structure. Between attraction and separation, between light and darkness, you exist perfectly balanced. When we measure the night sky, we find patterns that echo this balance. Galaxies form filaments hundreds of millions of light-years long, cosmic rivers of matter flowing through voids of nothingness. Those voids aren't empty. They're filled with the same dark energy that drives the whole expansion. It's the space between things that holds the universe together. Think about that for a while. The silence between notes makes the melody. The darkness between stars shapes the light we see. The distance between galaxies isn't absence. It's the structure of everything. If you could stand outside it all, if such a place could exist and watch the universe expand, you wouldn't see galaxies flying through blackness. You'd see a glowing fabric stretching evenly in all directions, each thread carrying its own islands of matter. As it expanded, the glow would fade, colours sliding toward red, until only a faint warmth remained. That's what the universe is doing right now, slowly, gracefully, in the background of our ordinary lives. When you breathe, you add a trace of warmth to that cosmic story. When you blink, light that began its journey before the Earth existed enters your eye. You're not separate from the expansion. You're one of its ways of knowing itself. Dark energy may be mysterious, but it isn't hostile. It's not something to fear. It's the quiet reminder that even emptiness has purpose. In the stillness between galaxies, there is work being done, space being made, possibility unfolding. It's the same with the spaces in your life. Growth often happens in the pauses, not the motion, and so the universe expands, and we expand with it, Every second stretches the distance between what was and what will be, and yet through it all, the laws remain the same. Simple, elegant, patient gravity pulls. Energy disperses, light travels, space grows, and somewhere, a small mind wonders why. That question, that act of wondering, is also part of the universe's expansion, because thought too is a kind of space. Each idea creates room for another. Each moment of awe pushes the boundaries of understanding a little farther out. In that way, our curiosity is an echo of cosmic growth, the universe thinking about itself, stretching inward and outward at once. The farther you look, the fainter the light becomes. Every photon that reaches us has fought against the expansion of space itself. Each one is stretched, weakened, cooled, its colour sliding from blue to red, its message growing softer until only a whisper remains. That soft glow marks the end of visibility. Beyond it lies something we cannot see, not because it isn't there, but because the light hasn't had time to arrive. We call it the invisible frontier, the limit of the knowable universe. It's not a border drawn by matter, but by time. We live inside a sphere of memory. Everything we can observe exists within. The distance light has travelled since the beginning. Outside that sphere, the universe continues, unfolding in silence, perhaps infinitely, perhaps not. We can only imagine. Imagine standing at that horizon, looking outward into regions forever hidden. There would be no stars, no colour, no sound. Space itself would appear still, yet beneath that stillness is the constant hum of creation. Matter forms, collapses, reforms, cycles repeating beyond all comprehension. When scientists map this boundary, they see patterns frozen in time. The oldest light, the microwave background, shows tiny ripples, minute differences in temperature, fractions of a degree. Those ripples are the fingerprints of everything that followed, the seeds from which galaxies grew. What you see in that map is the infant universe, still glowing from its birth. Every cluster of galaxies, every planet, every living being can trace its origin to those small, uneven pulses of heat. Think of it, a universe born from fluctuations smaller than a breath, and yet, from these imperfections, entire worlds emerged. It tells us something gentle about existence, that perfection isn't fertile. It's the tiny imbalance, the soft tremor in the beginning that allowed everything else to form. As we look farther and farther back, we reach a point where light itself can no longer tell us the story. Before that glow, the universe was opaque, a dense fog of plasma, too hot for atoms to exist. Photons couldn't travel freely. They were trapped in a cosmic storm, scattering endlessly. Only when the universe cooled enough for atoms to form did the fog lift, and light began its journey. That moment is called recombination, the universe's first dawn. Before that, there is darkness, a period we can only infer through mathematics. It's called the Cosmic Dark Ages. No stars, no galaxies, just a sea of hydrogen and helium waiting for gravity to sculpt it into shape. Then, after hundreds of millions of years, the first stars ignited. Their light pierced the fog, and the cosmos became transparent again. That transition is known as reionization. It was the moment when the universe learned to shine. And beyond even that, before time had rhythm, before space had structure, there was something we call inflation, a brief, unimaginable expansion in the first fraction of a second. In less than a heartbeat, the universe grew from smaller than an atom to larger than a galaxy. We don't know what caused it. Maybe a quantum field, maybe an energy trapped in its own potential, but that sudden breath set everything else in motion. The echo of that instant still shapes the cosmos today. It's strange to realise that what we call the edge of the universe isn't really an edge at all. It's the edge of the past. Every step outward is a step backward in time. When we look far enough, we aren't peering into distance, we're peering into history. The farthest galaxy we've seen shows us light emitted billions of years ago, when the universe was still young. If you could travel there instantly and look back toward Earth, you'd see our planet before humans existed. That's the geometry of time in space, a web where distance and history are the same thread. So when we speak of reaching the end, we must remember there is no wall. There is only the fading of information, the soft blurring of what can be known. And that blurring has beauty, because mystery gives depth to understanding, as shadow gives shape to light. Out there, beyond the visible horizon, space-time may curve back upon itself, like the surface of a vast sphere. Travel far enough, and perhaps you would return to where you began, or perhaps the universe is infinite, flat, unbounded, stretching endlessly in all directions. Our instruments can't yet tell. We measure, we model, we guess, but the truth remains wrapped in distance. There's comfort in that uncertainty. It reminds us that knowing has limits, and beyond those limits lies wonder. Science isn't the opposite of mystery. It's the way we speak with it. Every equation is a conversation between what we can measure and what we can imagine. The universe answers not with words but with consistency. Even its silence has grammar. If you could see the universe all at once, not through space but through time, you'd see a shimmering bubble bright at its centre fading toward the edges. That brightness is now the present moment. The dim edges of the past, cool and stretched thin. The light that began its journey long ago still moves outward, carrying with it the memory of creation. But as the universe expands, it carries the edges away faster than that light can return. This is what we call the cosmic event horizon. It marks the limit beyond which even signals sent now will never reach us. It's not a fence, but a consequence of time and speed. In the distant future, entire galaxies will drift beyond that horizon. Their light will never touch us again. The universe will grow quieter, emptier, more introspective. Only the closest galaxies bound by gravity will remain. A small cluster of stars floating in a vast dark sea. From that future, astronomers might look up and see only a handful of galaxies. The cosmic background radiation will have cooled beyond detectability. The story of the beginning will be lost to direct observation. And yet, even then, somewhere, someone might still look up and wonder what lies beyond. Perhaps that's the point. Not to reach the edge, but to keep asking what it means to have one. Because every horizon invites curiosity. Every boundary is an opening disguised as an end. The universe we know today is young compared to what it will become. It's still filled with motion, still glowing, still rich with galaxies, but time is patient. Given enough of it, even light grows weary. Wavelengths stretch, stars exhaust their fuel, galaxies merge, their cores settling into silence. What remains is not nothing. It's the quiet perfection of balance. A universe spread thin, smooth even. No more heat, no more cold, no more difference. Everywhere the same, a state physicists call thermodynamic equilibrium, and poets might call rest. And yet, in that rest, possibility never fully dies. Quantum fields still fluctuate. Particles still appear and vanish. Tiny sparks of randomness stir the still air of eternity. And perhaps from one of those sparks a new universe will begin, a fresh expansion, a new edge. Maybe the story never ends. Maybe it only pauses, inhales, and begins again. When you lie in bed tonight listening to the rhythm of your own breathing, remember that every breath contains atoms forged in stars. The oxygen in your lungs was once part of a supernova. The carbon in your blood was born in a red giant's heart. You are the universe made aware of itself. The edge you imagine far away exists inside you too, the boundary between what you know and what you are still becoming. Every question you ask is light travelling across that inner distance. Every realization is a small expansion of your own horizon. We don't need to touch the end of the universe to understand it. We only need to notice how it behaves within us. The patience of stars, the balance between gravity and flight, the silence that holds meaning. These same forces shape our thoughts, our choices, our moments of stillness. The more we learn about the cosmos, the more we see that it mirrors us, its birth and death, its chaos and order, its endless cycles of energy and rest. They're the same rhythms we feel in our own brief lives. We too expand and fade, shine and cool, collapse and begin again. So as the night deepens and your thoughts drift, let yourself travel to that far edge. Imagine the faint glow of the first light, the vast quiet between galaxies, the slow heartbeat of cosmic time, and know that somehow you are part of it all, because to exist is to be included in the universe's memory. To think is to keep the story going, and to rest, finally, is to return to the same silence that began it all. There is a theory, soft and simple, that the universe exists because it observes itself. Every atom, every wave of light, every consciousness that looks outward, all of them together form a mirror in which reality sees its own reflection. When you gaze at the stars, the universe isn't just in front of you. It's behind your eyes, woven into the pattern of your thoughts. You're the vantage point through which infinity becomes aware. It's easy to forget this. We live our days within small distances. The span of a room, the curve of a street, the reach of a hand. But every step you take is balanced upon space-time. Every heartbeat is timed to the silent rhythm of gravity. You don't need to go far to meet the cosmos. You already carry its blueprint. The iron in your blood was once the core of a collapsing star. The calcium in your bones was forged in the heat of stellar fusion. The hydrogen in your cells was born moments after the Big Bang. When the universe was still glowing with its first light, you are ancient, older than the earth, older than the sun. You are made of recycled light, and that light has memory. It remembers the shapes it once took. The dust, the flame, the wave, the thought. You're part of that sequence, the latest form in a lineage of energy that has never truly ended. When you lie still and breathe, you're participating in the oldest ritual, the exchange between emptiness and form. Inhale, gravity pulling in. Exhale, expansion moving out. Even your lungs follow the rhythm of the cosmos. Scientists sometimes say that the universe is flat, that if you draw a triangle on the largest possible scale, its angles still add up to 180 degrees. Space, they say, is smooth, not curved back upon itself. And yet, in another sense, it is infinitely folded, not in geometry, but in meaning. Every particle echoes another. Every action reverberates across unseen dimensions. What we call distance might just be a form of misunderstanding. Quantum mechanics tells us that nothing is truly separate. Particles once linked remain connected no matter how far apart they drift. Change one, and the other responds instantly, as if the universe refuses to forget its own story. Perhaps that is what consciousness is, the memory of connection. The part of the universe that refuses to look away from itself. Every dream, every moment of wonder, every question whispered into the dark, all of them are evidence of that memory. Even sleep itself is a kind of return, a nightly falling back into the same stillness from which everything came. When you close your eyes, you're not leaving the universe behind, you are aligning with it, letting its rhythms slowly merge with your own. And as you drift, the galaxies continue their quiet dance. Stars live and die, atoms rearrange, light stretches further into the dark. The story doesn't stop just because we close our eyes. It continues, softly, endlessly, a hum beneath the silence. Someday, far beyond our knowing, the last light will fade, the last star will cool, the last black hole will evaporate into a faint shimmer of radiation, but even then there will still be motion. The laws of physics are written too deeply to be erased. In that darkness, something unseen will stir again, a quantum tremor, a spark, and from that spark perhaps another beginning. Maybe that's the truest nature of the universe. Not permanence, but persistence. Not stillness, but the will to keep unfolding. And here you are, for a brief and beautiful moment, listening to its story, part of it, made of it, a thought inside the mind of everything. So when you finally close your eyes tonight and the noise of the day fades away, remember, you're not falling into nothing. You're falling back into the same vastness that has always held you, the same silence that holds galaxies together, the same peace that's once existed before time began. Sleep, then. Let the edges dissolve. Let your thoughts drift outward, fading softly into the background hum of existence. The universe expands and you expand with it. There is no end, only distance. No distance, only time. No time, only the quiet pulse of being. And within that pulse, you. Still here, still shining, still part of the edge. Far beyond every galaxy we've ever seen, beyond the shimmer of superclusters and the glow of ancient stars, there is a distance where even imagination trembles, a place where light, stretched thin by time itself, loses its colour and becomes the faintest sigh of existence. That is where the last light travels. It carries the memory of everything, every sunrise on every world, every spark that ever burned, every story that was ever told. But it does not rush. It drifts, slow and patient, as if it knows there is nowhere left to be. Out there, temperature has almost no meaning. Atoms rarely meet. A single photon can cross billions of years before touching anything at all. The universe has grown vast enough for silence to become a physical thing. Not absence, but the quiet presence of everything spread too thin to speak. If you could stand in that dark, you would not feel lonely. You would feel complete, because nothing is missing. It is simply at rest. The forces that once tore galaxies apart have balanced perfectly with the stillness that follows. Motion becomes memory, and memory becomes peace. In that peace, time itself begins to lose definition. Seconds, minutes, centuries, they no longer matter. The arrow of time, once so certain, begins to blur. Events no longer follow one another. They coexist like overlapping ripples on a pond. Everywhere, the past and future become two sides of the same wave, and perhaps, somewhere within that wave, another beginning stirs. Not a repetition, but a resonance, like a song restarting on a new key. Maybe creation is not a single act, but a rhythm that repeats when silence has learned enough to sing again. Our instruments can't reach that far. Our telescopes can't see the last photon's path, but we can imagine it. And in doing so, we extend the boundary of our understanding just a little more. That's what humans have always done. Build a meaning at the edge of the unknown. You can trace that instinct from cave paintings to spacecraft, from whispered myths to the quiet hum of computers listening to the stars. All of it, every tool, every thought is one gesture, a hand reaching outward into the dark, and perhaps the dark responds, not with words, but with the soft assurance that we belong here, that our questions are part of its design, that every act of wondering is another spark of the same light that began the universe itself. If you could hear that message, it would sound like a heartbeat, slow, deep, endless. It would sound like the universe breathing in, and maybe, just maybe, your own breath is part of that rhythm. So breathe again, slowly in and out. The same pattern that shapes galaxies moves through you right now. You're not separate from the edge. You are the edge, alive and listening. As you rest, the light continues its long voyage. It will keep going long after every sun has faded. It doesn't need a destination. Its journey is enough. Let that thought carry you through the last minutes of wakefulness. That existence is not measured by how far we go, but by the quiet persistence of being the universe endures. You endure with it. Somewhere billions of light years away, a photon leaves a dying star and begins to move. Billions of years from now, it will pass through the space you now occupy. It will cross your absence, touch your memory, and continue on, unaware that for a single hour you and it were part of the same story. And maybe, when that light finally fades, another will rise, a dawn beyond distance, a new universe beginning to breathe. Until then, let this one hold you. Let the silence deepen. Let the darkness become soft. You have reached the edge and found that it was never an end, only a threshold. There is a pattern woven through everything, a pulse that repeats across scales, from the orbit of moons to the rise and fall of entire galaxies. It is the rhythm of continuation, the universe breathing in slow motion. Everywhere we look, the same story unfolds in different forms. Stars are born, burn brightly, and then return their elements to space, making the next generation of stars possible. Galaxies collide, merge, and settle into new shapes. Even black holes, those symbols of finality, eventually evaporate, releasing their stored energy back into the fabric of existence. There are no true endings, only transitions. Everything that falls apart becomes the foundation of something else. Even light, when it fades, doesn't vanish, it stretches, cools, transforms. Its message whispered into new forms of being. And so the universe renews itself over and over again. If you could see all of time at once, you would notice how familiar the patterns are: expansion, collapse, renewal, an eternal breath. Some cosmologists call this the cyclic model, the idea that each universe gives rise to another through the silent laws that never tire of creation. When one universe grows cold, the quantum fields underneath it still hum softly, their potential never gone. In that vacuum, a single fluctuation can ignite a new expansion, a new fabric of space-time, a new chance for light to begin again. Perhaps it has already happened. Perhaps we live inside a lineage of universes, each one giving birth to the next like waves along an infinite shore. If that's true, then the edge we've reached tonight is not the end of the story, it's just one frame in an endless film still being written. The question then isn't what lies beyond the edge, but why there is an edge at all. Why anything exists instead of nothing. Why silence keeps choosing to become sound. Maybe the answer doesn't live in equations. Maybe it lives in experience, in the simple act of being aware, of noticing the world as it is, because awareness itself is the universe's way of existing twice, once as reality and once as memory. That awareness is in you. The same physics that carved galaxies carved the folds of your brain, the same energy that fuels stars fuels thought. Your curiosity, your imagination, your sense of wonder. These are the universe reflecting on itself, learning the texture of its own vastness. Every time you ask a question, you extend the edge a little farther. Every new understanding becomes a bridge across darkness. That's why the cosmos creates beings like you, to keep discovering, to keep turning mystery into meaning. It's strange to think that somewhere, billions of light years away, another mind might be doing the same, staring into its own sky, asking the same silent questions. Different stars, same longing. Different edge, same light. The universe doesn't repeat details, but it echoes ideas, curiosity, motion, renewal. These are constants written deeper than matter. And maybe when the last light fades and the last atom rests, the echo of those ideas will remain. A hum beneath non-existence, a potential waiting to rise again. Perhaps creation is simply memory, dreaming itself awake. Perhaps that's what you are right now. A moment of the universe remembering what it feels like to exist. When you fall asleep, that memory doesn't end. It returns to the same sea where all things begin. Sleep is not absence. It's a return to equilibrium, a small rehearsal of cosmic rest. So let yourself drift, without fear of endings. Every breath you take mirrors a cosmic rhythm older than time. Every heartbeat is the sound of expansion still unfolding, and every moment of stillness is proof that infinity knows how to pause. The universe has waited billions of years to speak through you, and now, for a short while, it gets to rest with you, to breathe quietly through your dreams, to exist as peace. Because even in stillness it continues, even in silence it speaks, even in sleep it expands, and when you wake it will still be here, carrying your presence like starlight that never forgets its source. If the universe had a sound, it would not be loud. It would be a low, endless vibration, the faint hum of space-time itself. Astronomers have detected traces of it, ripples in the fabric of reality caused by collisions of black holes billions of light years away. These are called gravitational waves, and they move through everything, through stars, through oceans, through you. When they pass, they stretch and squeeze space by amounts smaller than an atom, and yet they prove that the universe is alive with motion, that even the emptiest vacuum is not silent but resonant. You may never hear them, but you can feel their poetry. They are the heartbeat of the cosmos, translating unimaginable violence into quiet rhythm. Each one carries the memory of two black holes merging, their gravity twisting, their light swallowed, their final embrace turning into a song that travels forever. Somewhere in that vibration is a history of everything that ever touched, every orbit, every pulse, every collision. If you could decode it, you would hear the story of existence played in notes too deep for ears, too long for time. It means the universe is not still. Even the farthest stars contribute to a single endless harmony, a cosmic music that never began and will never truly end. When you rest, you join that harmony. Your breathing aligns with it, your heart sinks to it. You're part of the same wave that carries galaxies through the dark. You don't need to go anywhere to belong, you already do.